Yes. A very good afternoon to everyone. I am Yogashri, pursuing BCom first year at Sri Vidyaniketan Degree College. On behalf of Department of Arts and Humanities, it gives me immense pleasure to welcome you all to today's webinar on Career in Information Technology for Commerce Students. Now, I request our Honorable Principal, Dr. G. Ashalata Ma'am, to give introductory remarks.
Good afternoon, everybody. Dr. Mahesh, the organizing team, and all the participants who are here for the national webinar on careers in information technology for commerce students. Welcome to Sri Vidyaniketan Degree College. In fact, we are very happy to welcome all of you for this very interesting session because right now we know that the careers are very widely opening up, the new courses are opening up, and commerce as well as management is the most sought after field, either in India or in abroad. So we actually wanted to give a lot of information to our students with reference to the opportunities that they have when they take up any course in a degree college. So based on this, our placement team, the entire campus works on it. And indeed, we are very fortunate to have a very honorable chairperson, Dr. Padma Shri, Dr. Mohan Babu Garu, with us all the time with his blessings, and very revered CEO Manchu Vishnu Garu, who is always there to support us and then encourage us to take up programs which will benefit students the most. This particular program, we wanted to actually make it very essential because sometimes, you know, there are typical core areas which are always very, opportunistic, and we can take up a lot of ideas forward to take up good career options. But then, you know, sometimes when we don't have awareness, we end up with the routine jobs where the students even might not have the interest to take up a job which they really would like to. In that context, we all wanted to have a different kind of an orientation. That is the reason why we are having this webinar today. And we are very very much thankful sincerely to Dr. Mahesh for accepting our invitation. Sir, welcome to Sri Vidyaniketan Group of Institutions and Sri Vidyaniketan Degree College. On behalf of the Department of Arts and Sciences and Sri Vidyaniketan Group, I welcome you for this webinar. And actually, like, we wanted to know what are the latest things that the students can understand and what is the skill set that they would like to develop if they want to take up a career in the IT industry, being a commerce student. So they all the children know that into the accounting or business analytics or financial analytics or actuarial sciences or maybe IPR or whatever it is, the commerce students have got a great kind of a scope when we see the IT careers also. It's the same thing. So we see lots and lots of people taking up these areas and going into new ventures or new areas of development or new areas of career chances. But then when we have these, doubled up in their mind, maybe they benefit with the right combination of certifications that they, or how they can plan their career and what is the mode that they need to follow. What about the higher studies, or whether they can take up the career right after graduation. So many questions will be there with the commerce students. I think even I know some of my friends who work even with your company, that is IBM. So being a CA, they're part of the analytics team in IBM. So it's a great kind of a scope that they have. But then when the students who are quite young in our college, if they know, then it will be good for us, like, like how they can shape their future for the best possible, advantages. So I hope that all the participants who are logged in here today, they will be also looking forward to listening to you. And once again, I congratulate the organizing team for organizing this webinar, as well as very respected resource person for accepting our invitation to be part of this webinar. So welcome everybody. God bless all of us.
Thank you, ma'am. Now, I request Dr. S.V. Ravikant sir, Head, Department of Arts and Humanities, to present the department profile.
Respected Principal Madam, Dr. Mahesh Pavan, today's speaker, faculty and participants. Sri Vidyaniketan Degree College is established under the aegis of Sri Vidyaniketan Educational Trust in 1996 with twin objectives of imparting job-oriented quality education and values under the stewardship of Padma Shri Dr. M. Mohan Babu Garu, a versatile film artist and farmer, member of Rajya Sabha. BCom was started in the year 2004. I am indeed privileged to head the Department of Arts and Humanities. Every year, we see students with the statistics and electronics background get into various software companies, and majority of the software companies, when they come to Vidyaniketan for recruitment, most of them opt students with the computer science background. We always thought that there should be equal opportunity, or in fact better opportunity, for people with accounts background. So we were thinking someone who can help us to help the students to know what are the areas in IT where they can embark on. So we are fortunate we could find Dr. Mahesh Pavan. I would like to thank my former colleague, Mr. Raghavendra Rao, for suggesting his name. And soon after I contacted him, he immediately accepted and he said, anytime is possible, sir. So on behalf of Department of Arts and Humanities, Arts and Humanities, I thank Dr. Mahesh for accepting our invitation. So there are a number of faculty members who are net qualified and who are PhDs in our department, and they guide their students efficiently well. So it would be an honor for all of us to listen to you on this occasion. Thank you very much, and back to you, Yogashri.
Thank you, sir. I really feel fortunate to be in the commerce department and to be as a commerce student. Commerce is one of the fascinating fields. Now, Ms. Divyashree of BSc second year will give the introduction of eminent resource person, Dr. Mahesh Pavan Shatavalli, sir.
Good afternoon, everyone. On behalf of the organizing committee, I deem it a privilege to welcome you all to today's national webinar. I feel it an honor to introduce today's presenter, Dr. Mahesh Pavan Shatavalli, sir, who has 18 plus years of proven excellence in program management, service delivery, business analysis, project management, and business operations. He is efficient at managing programs and project, ensuring stakeholder alignment and effective on time and on budget project execution. Dr. Mahesh Pavan has abundant knowledge in pay-per-click, digital marketing, online marketing, Google AdWords, and social media marketing. He did his master's in business administration in marketing and systems at Kanchipuram and completed his MPhil and PhD from IIM Ahmedabad. He also attended several faculty development programs. He also certified in ITIL V3, Prince 2, Certified Scrum Master, Google and Google AdWords. He is currently working in Program Manager in IBM India Private Limited, Bangalore. He has published many research publications. Some of them are Social Marketing Plan for Rural Handicraft Entrepreneurs, a study on the evolution of agri-entrepreneurship. He was invited to many guest lectures at various colleges across India. We are indeed blessed and thank you for accepting as a resource person. I welcome Dr. Mahesh Pavan Shatavalli, sir, to today's webinar. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Divyashree. Now I request our eminent resource person, and we welcome you all, sir.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Thank you very much. Shall we start now?
Sir?
Okay, fine. Shri Guru Bhyo Namaha. My sincere thanks to the management, the faculty of Sri Vidyaniketan for inviting me and to have an interaction, to share my knowledge with the students. And just a small correction. I did my FDP Faculty Development Program from IIM Ahmedabad, and I did my PhD from Sri Chandrasekharendra Saraswati Mahavidyalaya. It's a small correction. So coming on to the session that we wanted to start. When I was talking to Ravikant sir, he suggested that there are a lot of commerce students where they wanted to get into IT, and the IT industry is booming now. And when we were discussing, it came to a point that a lot of commerce students have knowledge, have a lot of subjects that they are actually reading as a part of their 3 year course. And some people have an area of understanding of how, where, when it has to be started, and how, and some are not. So that is where the topic has boiled down to, and the careers in information technology for computer students or commerce students is primarily the focus of on this particular day, right? So let's get on to that and see what we wanted to understand. And in case if there is any doubt while we are running the slides in the next 1 to 1 hour 15 minutes of the time, so you don't need to wait till the end of the session. You can feel free to ask the question and the same slide, so that it will be very easy for you to fill the gap or whatever the query that what you have. Okay, now coming on to the important session. We all know about commerce and accounting. We all talks about all these particular words: taxes, goods, salary, calculations, profit and loss, right? So the fiscal policy or deductions, benefits, capital gains. So these are all the words that what we see. So without these words, there is no accounting or there is no commerce at all. Now, what is the base for all these? Can I ask any student to tell me what is the most important thing of all these to be successful in an organization?
Sir, most of the students will be watching in YouTube, so they can only post their questions. They cannot speak, sir.
Oh, okay.
They will be
Okay.
writing in the chat box, and once the session is completed, we will get back to you, sir, with all the questions.
Oh, okay, okay. Sorry, sir. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, fine.
Right.
Yeah. So coming on to this particular thing, right? So let's see how it goes. So the I call these as the pillars of finance or commerce or accounting. The success of the entire commerce or the accounting or the entire financial management lies on these five pillars. The first one is honesty. The second one is the trust. The third one is ethics, that is ethical way of to the accounting. The fourth is the integrity, and the fifth is the conduct of a person. Right? We all have seen many bad scams that happened or that shook the world, or especially in India in the last 30 to 35 years to especially the 40 years. We have seen 2G scam, 3G scam, this scam, that scam, and every other day we keep seeing from a central to the local way we see the scams. The root of all these is the corruption, right? So if a person who is working on these particular things is honest and is trustworthy and ethical, and integrity is, it's a self-disciplined person, he should commit to himself, he should promise to himself that I should not commit anything wrong while working, or well, should not make any wrong entries or wrong calculations or wrong values. It all depends on the conduct of a particular person. That is where, if you see, if one individual or an organization who is involved in this particular entire activities stick to these particular five pillars, that is where you see the organization succeeds. That is why majority of the private organizations that we are talking about today are succeeding, because they stick to their values. they stick to their core competencies. They stick to their integrity, and we trust those organizations. Right? Now, coming on to the important thing. We all see 4 shades of people. That is, we'll see some people will have an attitude of will do. That means I will do the work. That means they always wanted to elevate themselves. They always grow faster compared to the other people. Some people say that I can't do it. That is where they motivate themselves, they encourage themselves, and then move to the next level, or they work hard for it and they'll try to see the success in the life, or they work towards a successful vision, or they try to make their aim and vision to succeed. And the third one is a can't do attitude. That's they have to evaluate themselves saying that I can't do a particular activity, or I can't do a particular work or a task. Why am I not able to do that? Though it's a part of the negative in nature, but they see that the positive mentality of them will try to evaluate, like, yes, these are the areas where I am weak, these are the subjects where I'm not getting good marks. So I'll read more on this, I'll put more hard work on this, I'll invest more time on these particular subjects or topics, and then get more marks. And some people, they won't do it at all. That means they eliminate from the particular system, whether it is a person or an organization, it's the same thing. Right? Now, life doesn't happen to you, but life always happens for you in terms of the success, right? So if you want to see the success, you need to have a proper knowledge, you need to be sincerely working towards it, and you should be hardworking to reach a particular goal or to reach the success. But as such, I don't believe there's a definition for a success, but it all depends and it all changes from point to point and from age to age and responsibility to responsibility. To reach to that particular success or the vision that what you aim for, you should not have ego, you should not be jealousy, you should not have a cheating mentality, and you should not have laziness. So that is the reason I always say from left side, you have to go step by step, one step at a time, get on to the success, right? And you have to leave the ego, you have to leave jealousy, you have to leave cheating, you have to leave the laziness kind of mentality and attitude. That is where you see yourself different from other 15, 20 people around you. We always are compared with our friends, our relatives, or with our neighbors, right? So our mother or father or a sister, they compare with our siblings many times, or with our neighbors, saying that, see, that neighbor is getting a good studying well, or good marks, or getting good salary, right? Some people, that is why we don't like it many times. We have our own way to do it, right? But we to follow all this, we should be having all these particular qualities which we are seeing on the left side, which is knowledge. We should gain the knowledge always, we should be sincere, and we should be hardworking. Right? Now, who will have that? Who will tell you what to do, what not to do? Where will we get this information? When is the right time to get it? And how to get it? And why should we get it? And what are the ways that how do you get that? Right? To achieve success, who will help us? Or when will we get the success? Or why are we stuck in a particular place? Or why are we not progressing? These are the questions that keeps boggling in our mind every day and every minute. When someone humiliates us, right? When we were shamed before others. Now, let's come and see what are the areas that where we are able to get into post our bachelor's or the master's commerce degree, especially, or either from the management perspective also, right? So some time back, our ma'am was saying that these are the areas where people are interested into, and some of the alumni or some of the previous students have got the jobs into analytics or some of the professional courses in banking and finance and actuarial sciences, or some have taken up entrepreneurship, and some will end up in working in the financial and insurance industry. Right? We know that these are the various career paths or courses that what we have for our future. But now, how do you achieve that? How do you get into there? Does our a BCom or a BCom computers course or a degree is alone enough to get a job in IT? Is that alone enough for us to get into the professional courses like some banking or insurance or some CA or CFA or ICWA? Will that help us in getting into banking and financial companies? Will that help in getting into an IT? Can I be in IT field, or after BCom should I opt for MCA or another IT course? Right. So even if you are starting your own venture and venturing into your own business, that is entrepreneurship, you still have to inculcate, you still have to practice, you still have to do all the accounting practices. So the commerce that what we talk about, or the financial management, is the core and heart for the business. Now, this is what I see for 5 steps to success. So you should always have a learning mentality. So keep up your small goals, and from there you keep achieving each small goal and reach to the final destination or a goal or vision of yours. And it should be flexible enough in terms of the areas that what you have kept in your mind as a part of your focus, and you need to inspire yourself. So you will get an opportunity as a part of moving from one step to other step. You keep meeting your faculty, or you keep having more interaction with your faculty, or you keep meeting new people. You keep getting influenced, or you get influenced by many other friends or a faculty or outside people as well. And you get motivated by them, and then you try to focus on that, on your aims and on your visions. Yes, this is what is my goal and I have to achieve there, right? As a process of this, by moving from one step to other step on the left side, that what you see, you also encounter some mistakes, or you might do some mistakes, or you might experience a failure, or you might be rejected many times, and you get frustrated because you might fail 1, 2, or 3 times, and you're not seeing the right success and the right time. And finally, you will also be getting insulted by the other members, maybe your friends or some of your relatives or some of your neighbors. So people keep insulting us, right? It's all we are all staying together, right? So that is how we encounter all these, and these are mandatory. These are the compulsory things which you cannot avoid. That is where you have to keep moving on. You have to take it as an experience and then keep moving on to the next level. If you start thinking about why a rejection to me, why a failure to me, and I did a mistake, and if you're not correcting it, if you are repeating the same mistake again and again, you will still be in the left side only. You will not be able to achieve your success. You will not be reaching your goal at all, the final destination that what you wanted to be. From there, I would like to introduce this, which is the cash model. Anything that you do, whether it is a job or your own business, the first and foremost thing is the knowledge about it. The second thing is the skills. The third one is your attitude towards a particular issue or a problem or a particular concern or on a particular business area. And fourth one is a habit. Now, if you see on the left side, the knowledge and skills are external. That is, you gain your knowledge from your faculty members. So your faculty members will teach you and you get the knowledge. You get the skills from outside. So someone will teach you how to speak. That is the communication skills. right? So non-verbal skills, how to look confident, how to present yourself, like just wearing a blazer or combing your hair. So these are some of the non-verbal skills, communication skills, that what we talk about, right? So these are all external. We get influenced by others, but the most important thing is attitude and habits, which is internal to you, which belongs to you. This is where you control on it. That is why if you are succeeding, that means the teachers, your parents, your books, your knowledge, your examination, your results, your pass percentage is 50%, which is knowledge and skills, which is directly visible. But the other 50% completely depends on you as an individual. You only can change yourself. No one can tell you that. No one can change your attitude unless you have an intention to change. No one can change your habit unless and until you know that it is very, very difficult or very harmful, right? So the 50% is in outside world, which you get it from outside world, but the other 50% on the right side is completely within you, or within your control, or within your hands. Now, where can these be developed? So we get all these four things, which is knowledge, attitude, skills, and habits, from three different things, which are mainly the education, experience, and practice. So that is why education is the most important part of our life, of our ambitions, to mold ourselves to become a good person, right? So some people might get a job with just a BTech or a BCom or a BSc or BCA, and after some time they realize that they still wanted to read more. 95% of the people who study more, they are more confident enough in sharing their thoughts, in sharing their ideas with others, even in terms of speaking. Probably some people might not be able to speak, but they will be able to write an exam well and get good marks. That is where your attitude, your skill, your habits have to be changed. If you just tweak, if you just make a slight modification on your daily routine and invest half an hour to 1 hour in improving your communication skills, that is where this is visible. The more you get into your jobs, the more you are involved, the more you gain your experience, you gain more of knowledge, you gain more of skills, you gain more confidence, you get more attitude, with a good attitude and the right habits. It will not give you a result, a fruitful result, unless you put all these things into practice, unless you implement it. That is what the practice means, right? So unfortunately or accidentally, all of these are actually focused on the people, the planet, the profit. The profit is nothing but, it doesn't mean that one has to gain and one has to lose. It's a win-win situation. That is what the profit we are talking about. And the partnership is a mutual respect, mutual understanding. That's the investment, that's the trust that you're actually building up. That's the partnership that we are talking about here. Right now, this is what I got it from one of my friends, and just like that, no person or no individual is same as the other person, right? So the kind of knowledge, the kind of mentality is completely different from my knowledge, is completely different from my brother or my other colleague, right? So no two individuals are same. That is why if you see, right, from an egg to an adult butterfly, the metamorphosis or the life cycle changes of butterfly is very, very typical, right? Out of 100 or maybe 500 eggs, you might see only one or two butterflies, adult butterflies, coming up and flying up. That means see the kind of the pain that the caterpillar undergoes to become an adult. That is where we are as well. right? So we, as from the day we join our college, and from the day on the day when we join our job, right? So we undergo a lot of pain, a lot of transformation. We meet a lot of people. We read a lot of subjects. We write the exam. We get the pass percentage. We learn how to talk to people, right? So these are all the areas that these are all the, say for example, like a speed breakers will help you to grow further, to think about yourself. Where am I going wrong? What are my limitations? What are my weaknesses? This is where you try to understand and go to the next level. Now, when we were talking about the courses that what we have, the opportunities, so one thing came up as the thing is the analytics and IT or actuarial sciences, or maybe a teaching job, or even in the financial industry or a banking industry, or a clerk in a bank. These are all the ones where we understand, right? But anything for that matter is completely depend on these four things. That is where you as an individual or me as a student have to create your value in every place where we go, or where we work, or where we are, right? So if you see on the left side, you see just the data over there. Every one of us have access to the data. Say for example, if I go to Google, I get like 2000 3000 pages to search, but we will not have the patience to search each and every page, right? So we gather some information from Google, right? So we put each and every, whatever that we need it, whatever that is relevant, and whatever falls under the similar bucket, so we will put it into groups, right? Or some sort of clusters, and based on that information, and based on the information that what we have, we create a knowledge base, right? That is why if you see, each color of it is actually being connected over here. The knowledge will in turn create the creativity. That means based on your knowledge, you map something in your mind and you wanted to do something new, which is a creativity. So any job that you do, or any work that you're actually doing even now, right? So we all have access to it. Some people stop here, some people make it as a knowledge and use it whenever it is required, and some people create something new, or they use their creativity and then wanted to do something new, right? See how good it is. It's the same thing. It's the same thing, but we all see that the data what we have has actually given to a bulb over here. That is how whatever the knowledge, whatever the skills, whatever the attitudes, whatever the habits that what we normally try to get from outside or from internal side, it has to see a byproduct of it. It has to be visible, right? So we might read for 3 hours a day or 4 hours a day, and at the end of the day, how many marks that you got after the final examination, that matters a lot, right? Now, what is that we are actually talking about here? Everything is a problem solving. That is where you as an individual is different from others in your organization where you work. Say for example, a small company has 50 people and only 1 or 2 will be a problem solver. That means those 2 people are very key, and they take up an issue, identify what the problem is. They do a root cause analysis for the problem. We call it as an RCA. Understand where the problem is, whether it is a problem with the person, or whether it is a problem with the product, or whether it is a problem with the price, or whether it's a problem with a particular issue as such. We understand based on this, and we take care of this particular problem, and we try to work towards a resolution of it. Right? Now, according to one of the education technology companies, so learning in the new normal post COVID-19, so they have suggested from 5 important skills, and this is according to MD of Udemy, it's Mr. Ivan Anand. So these five skills are very, very important to us, and this is an opportunity for us to improve, inculcate, and habituate on a daily basis. You might not see that saying that this is what the soft skill, this is what the cognitive skill, and this is the technology, but you might be using it on a day-to-day basis, saying that this is what the skill, this is what is uh, physical well-being that I'm doing. Say for example, like yoga or exercise or skipping or meditation that you do, it's more of the mental well-being, right? Many of us do that, have done that in the last 1 to 1.5 year of a COVID. We changed ourselves to a lot, right? Now, what's next? So for the commerce students especially and management students, we have a lot of opportunities in all these particular industries, right from pharmaceuticals or clinical care to the social work or the public health as well, right? The one thing that where we wanted to go in this particular session is more on the IT sector and information technology and software. Let's see how we will get to that. Okay, now personally, I very much like this particular concept, which was shared by Harsh Johari in LinkedIn some long time back. So if you're stuck in a personal or a professional situation, so we need to ask some 5 questions to ourselves. Do you need more information? Did you talk to someone when you have encountered a problem, when you faced a problem or an issue? Do you need a help or do you need more resources? Resources may be in terms of money or in terms of a support or in terms of the mental support as well, or a psychological support. Does it require more time to complete? Do you need something else to do for this? It's not sometimes it is not only money, sometimes it is not only people. We need something else on this, right? So we might need more support. We might need more marketing capability to achieve something. I'm just giving an example over here. Okay. So once if you ask all these 5 questions in your mind, you get an answer to yourself on what is that I am able to achieve and how can you achieve that. So you should have a true passion. You should focus on your energies, and you should have a mentality to face the failure, right? So if your failure, I do not mean failure is something wrong, right? So a failure in corporate life means it's a falling down. A person who has fell down one time will never wanted to fall down again. He learned from the mistakes. He count each and every mistake. He worked hard not to repeat that, not to experience that failure, because we know the pain out of it. We habituated discipline. We know how to survive. We know how to sail the process how to sail during the failures or when we are fallen down, right? So we also understand that the worth that what you make, the knowledge that what you gain or the skills that what you are gaining are more important than any other qualification, right? So you tell yourself, to your heart, to your mind, saying that yes, you are great, you can achieve it, you can do it, and you should have a continuous learning mentality, right? And finally you should be, these are all a part of the positive thinking. Now we all might have seen this, from one comfort zone to a growth zone. We always move from one side to other side many times, and that is where we started seeing the success as well, right? Now If you want to get a job immediately after a BCom, or maybe immediately after MCom, right? So we should follow these particular 5 paths. The first one is how do you add a value to yourself? How do you create a value? There might be 100 people in your class, but how do you differentiate yourself? There might be 100 people working in a team, in a company, but why should only one person is special there? What made him to be special? How is he creating value there? If you ask me, I will go to each and every team and ask them what is their problem, and I will be a part of the solution. I understand the problem, their problem, and how their problem is linking to me, so that I get a solution of mine. That is where his work is getting delivered through me, and I'm satisfied because my problem is also getting resolved through him, through his issue. So what are you finally going to do here? You're trying to be a solution, but not a problem. Sorry, but not a part of the problem, right? Maybe we have 5 teams in a small company, but if one team start going and working with everyone, so that one team will understand the problem in each team and will resolve the problem in each team. That is where you see a win-win situation. You are winning, and parallelly you are also making the other team or the other team member also to win, to gain confidence. That is where the trust comes into picture. That is where people trust you. People will start respecting you more for the value that you are creating. It's not the work that should speak, it's the actions, it's the value that what you create is more important. Right? Now, when you are moving in your personal life from one phase to other phase, or in your career from one job to other job, right? So you will see all these things indirectly happening around you. Right? You learn new things, you become more confident, you're concerned as an individual or a citizen of a country, you become active in some areas, right? So everyone might be affiliating with one or the other thing. So one person might be associated with a temple, one person might be associated with a trust, wanted to do the social service, one person might become an soldier, one person after their BCom wanted to get into a job and then become a responsible banker, right? So everywhere you see that as a concerned citizen, you develop your core value based on your skills, based on your knowledge, based on the awareness that what you have, right? And you, in the meanwhile, while doing this, you talk to more people, you understand their cultures, you understand their mentality. That is where you adjust to them and then try to move to the next level, right? These are your core values. How will you develop that, especially in this 21st century, is more on the areas that what we are actually seeing here. And why do you want to develop this when you are in a job? Especially for a commerce graduate, these are all the areas that have to be very, very careful, right? It doesn't mean that a commerce or a financial management student have to work only on debit and credit. No, it's wrong. You'll be a part of the marketing plan. You'll be a part of the financial planning of an organization. You'll be part of the entire analysis of what is actually happening around you in the organization. You'll be a part of the operations and understand how many people are working, how many hours they are working, what is their productivity, how is the machinery in the company is working, what is the raw material cost. So these are all the areas that what it boils down to the operations. You'll be a part of the business planning, you'll be a part of the strategy. Even if a company want to come up with their own product which they want to manufacture and sell it in the market, you'll be a part of the product development, and you'll be a part of the deciding a price for that particular product, deciding a cost for that particular product. That is, indirectly costing must be done on that, right? So if you need to achieve that, you have to be very careful in terms of what you do, how you do, and what is that impact that you're actually making. So these are the most important things that you have to keep in your mind and then work towards and strive hard towards it. The next important things that I wanted to highlight for the student community is these are the 7 things that you need to do on a daily basis, and you need to implement it on a daily basis. Now, to get a job, anywhere you go, you are asked to take up an examination, or you'll be a part of the group discussion. And then once you pass only in these 2, you'll be given a job for an initial 3 months of training. And from there, you will be asked to perform by your own. This is where the cognitive, interpersonal and intrapersonal skills will come into the picture, and you will have to utilize all these 3 as a part of your examination selection for a particular job, and even to perform the job as well. Right? We might have seen everything over here, but every time when you will not understand that this is what we are doing it, but still you will do that. That means it is already there in your blood. You have practiced it. You have implemented it. The greatest advantage that the commerce students has is they understand the financial management better than anyone else. They understand the core of the organization, the performance of the organization very well. Especially the CAs and ICWAs, some of these graduates, they go to the leadership level very fast. They have an opportunity to take the responsibility, to understand the responsibilities, right? So they are very good team players. They can understand very well. They take charge of it. They take responsibility. They communicate well. They tell that this is what is wrong, this is what is right, and this is how the price should be. This is what the price should not be. Right? So what is the break-even analysis? When the product will go for a break-even analysis. So these are all the calculations where the commerce people they do, or the financial management people will do in the organization. And what you see on the left side, the trust, the integrity, the values, and the right side, which is empathy, passion, and work and fun. So these are all the extra layers that you bring into your leadership qualities, which makes you a trustworthy among others, which makes you better compared to many other people in the team. Right? Now, that is where the creativity, innovation comes into picture, and that is why a lot of people are venturing into the entrepreneurship, and they are starting themselves new, and then they are creating a price tag for it, quoting a price for it, and then coming up to the market with a new products, new services. 10 years back, we do not have Zomato. We do not have Amazon or Flipkart in Tirupati. 10 years ago, we do not have internet on mobile for many of for many products or mobiles. But now internet connectivity or data is minimum basic thing for any Android phone or for any smartphone. The internet, the creativity, the innovation are giving more opportunities to start by your own. You can start something by your own in your village. A new e-commerce website or a new e-commerce app, mobile app. You start by your own, you work for your own self. Right? Now, we talk about digitalization everywhere. What is digitalization? Right? So digitalization in business happens in 5 different ways. One is on the analytics, the mobile communications or the mobile applications. The third one is on the cloud technologies. The fourth one is on the social media or the social networking. The fifth one is the consumer-friendly IT applications that we use on a daily basis, either directly or indirectly. We use a particular website to download our hall ticket. We log into a particular portal, now say for example Zoom. to have an online sessions. This is one kind of the consumer-friendly IT applications. When COVID is not allowing us to go to a physical place or a class and read all the subjects, so this kind of consumer-friendly IT applications like Zoom or Google Meet or something are helping us to connect to each other. This is one kind of digitalizing the classrooms, right? Hope now you understand the difference between all these. What is that the organizations are doing on all these things? Why are they doing it? They are doing it for a better process management. That is, how do the impact? The impact is more on the business process management that what they see. To enhance the productivity or to simplify the operations or to reduce the manufacturing or service time or even to standardize the workflows. Where do you see all these things? You see that in the employment, you see that in the HR or interviewing, you see that in marketing, you will encounter that in the opportunities that a company is grabbing to sell a new product or to expand to the new market. And finally, the three things that what you experience based on this particular digitalization is mainly on the productivity, the efficiency, and the collaboration of working along with the people. These are the three successful areas that I can actually correlate to. Now coming on to the marketing, right? So previously, marketing was more at the middle, where the brand and the service is on the left side that you see, and the customer comes to know about a product only through a TV or an ad or through a website or like a in-store visit or a pamphlet. But now, before the product comes into the market, right? So we come to know about the product much either through an ad in your YouTube videos, or as soon as you open a website, you might see an ad over there. You open a Flipkart or an Amazon portal, you might get an ad saying that on 8th the product is getting launched and you can pre-book it now, right? So this is how the digitalization has made changes in the marketing. Coming on to the HR, right? So from 1990s of automation to current situation of post 2018 and 2021, we are in the area of performing the activities by optimizing the productivity or by aligning the teams to a particular structure and make sure that they talk to each other and they do everything on time. That is how it is actually changing the world. Now, coming on to our important topic on the digitalization in financial services, we have seen lot of tremendous changes that has happened on the financial services, right? So we are recharging, we are paying the bills like the water bill or current bill or anything through your mobile. We are booking the tickets through an online portals. We are renewing the insurance through from home only or from our mobile and not going to particular offices. And shopping, especially, you all have seen how shopping trend has changed. Instead of someone going to a physical place, we are purchasing most of the products from our mobile itself. The money transfer, especially the UPI, Google Pay, Paytm, these are the things. So for all the transactions through bank, we definitely need to have the Aadhaar enabled payment system for everything. For every account, you need to connect with the Aadhaar number, and then the transactions will be made through this particular Aadhaar enabled payment systems. And the most important thing is on the account opening, prepaid or postpaid cards, or the cash collection. So many things we are using the digital platforms to see that, or we are using that and reducing our effort of going out. Now, behind everything of this, there are brains, there is effort, there are SMEs who have a lot of knowledge on commerce, accounting, and finance, working towards it to make it success. The SME, what we call, is the subject matter expert, right? To manufacture something, we need a mechanical person. To create something new, we need a program to be developed. Even a program to be developed and worked, we need an SME to make sure that the transaction happens in the back end. How does it connect to a bank from a sender to a seller? How the bank transaction happens? How does it looks like in the ledger accounts? So these are all being done back at the back end by the commerce people, and make sure that the entire accounting is being done in a fair way and properly. Now, coming on to the important thing on this financials, especially on the digitalization of the financials. So these are all the areas that where we see we work. We keep hearing about all these things, right? Profit equity ratio, or the bonds, or the stock markets, or the financial research, the mutual funds, the insurances, everything to everything. Every one of us must have read all these particular words, or would have some knowledge on all these particular topics. How do you use it? Where do you use it? What are the companies that they are taking all these particular skills and knowledge? These are being especially done in the insurance and financial sectors, like the investment and stock trading, the financial planning, mergers and acquisitions. The insurance and finance regulations and reforms are being done based on these particular the knowledge that a particular individual or a firm or the company is gaining and showing the impact on it. Now, where do you see that careers for the financial management or the commerce graduates? The commerce graduates spend most of their time in doing a research on all these particular financial products. From an institution, you call it as a private equity or the portfolio management. If you work in a corporate side, you work in a FP&A, financial planning and analysis. That is where the analytics comes into picture. You work in the treasury way and understand how the fund or how the work or how the finance is, how the cash is moving from one place to other place, or from one company to other company, or from one unit to the other unit. You'll be a part of the investor relations. How many of the investors are investing in the company, and what is their motto behind it, and how many of the shares have been allocated to them. The third is on the public accounting, and the fourth is on the banks, right? So these are all the various areas we know how it actually works. But unless when you are working in the banking sector, so each and every area again is a different ocean there. You need to explore in that particular area and try to get into the jobs over there, right? So a BCom or an MCom graduate or a student should not be restricted only just for the sake of accounting. There are multiple areas where you can create your interest, learn on that particular subject, and develop and move forward and in getting the jobs there. You don't need to become an accountant every time when you are graduating after your BCom or an MCom. This is an interesting way how I wanted to put up and see how it actually takes forward to the next level, and understand yourself where you are currently, and where after 1 year or 2 years or 3 years, what are the areas where I get a job, especially when you're a commerce graduate, right? So hope this is self-explanatory, and I do not want to dig deeper over here, but the career in commerce industry, especially with the commerce background, these are the areas where you can mold yourself, you can change yourself, and this is the average salary that is based on a particular website. And the entire areas that what you see on the left side, these are all the areas where you can get a job immediately after your graduation or your post-graduation. It doesn't mean that one area is better and one area is not. It all depends on the passion. It all depends on the interest that what you you put up on a particular area and then work towards getting a job in that. Now, what are the companies where you get a job, especially from IT? What are the companies that they are hiring? That is what you definitely wanted to know. The first thing is on the FIS company, where they work most on the financial derivatives, financial activities only. Second one is Deloitte. So Deloitte does a lot of financial planning, taxation, right? So patents, rights, and all the other things. KPMG, it's also mostly on the consulting side, and PricewaterhouseCoopers, PwC. So Deloitte, KPMG, PwC, and Ernst & Young. So these are all the consulting companies where on an overall, they are about to hire around 5,000 to 7,000 commerce graduates, at least by end of 2022. These are the number of the jobs that each and every company are planning to hire by end of 2022. That means they do know that there is a good opportunity for the commerce background students to get into these companies. Apart from this, companies like IBM or Cognizant or even Wipro, they hire lot of MBA finance freshers and BCom graduates to work on the accounting side of it, to work on the financial planning of it. So you might be hearing about ER, AP, GL and all, right? So general ledger, accounts receivable, accounts payable, ER, AP and GL, right? So these are the areas where companies are hiring. And it doesn't mean that you do not know all this, you know that, but you need to mold yourself, you need to acquire some specific skills, specific attitudes, specific habits to get into the job there. You might get a 90%, but you might not be able to speak. That is where you lack the communication skills. You might have got 90%, but if you are not having a hard-working mentality or an ability to do hard work in the organization, it is very difficult for you to get to sustain in the job or to succeed in the job. Right? Now, the different dimensions of to access the digitalization in financial services are mainly sitting on three things. One is the technology, which is corely developed by the technology or the people who know the technology or the technical skill sets, say for example like a Java or a .NET or many other things. And the applications that drive towards it, that means what are the implications that are involved in this? What is the impact that is going to make it? That is where the core functionality, either a marketing or a HR or a commerce or a finance graduates make a lot of a positive impact over here. They tell this is how it should be because they know the business. The people who do coding, they do not need to know the process or they do not need to know the business functionality as such, but we from the management or commerce graduates will tell how the technology or how the application should work. And finally, what aspects of it mean to get a positive change over there. That means you as a person, as a commerce graduate or a management graduate, is bridging the gap between the technology and the applications and the technology and the aspects of the activities. That means the business model, the business objectives, the business areas that you will be translating these to the technology terms and then work along with the people and make sure that the work is being delivered with the right integration with the technology. Right? Now, coming on to the important topic over here. What are the applications of the new technologies in the financial services? What is that we are actually seeing now? We see about the general ledger, we are hearing about the big data analytics, we also know about the Internet of Things, that is IoT, cloud computing, artificial intelligence, the biometric technology, and the augmented or virtual reality, we call it as AR and VR. So these are all the various financial activities and services that the companies or organizations are trying to serve to the customers. whether you go to ICICI or HDFC or Axis Bank or even to State Bank, you might see some of these are already there in place by serving in various other categories. So say for example, the payment services, the advisory things, the investment and trading, the insurance, the operations, the communication. So each and every area, you might see one or at least one or two will be standing across each and every digital technology, right? That is how the complete industry have changed now. Unlike like 5 to 10 years back, where there were less opportunities for the commerce graduates, but now the commerce graduates are having a huge responsibility on their shoulders to carry on, to make sure that the transactions are fair enough and there is nothing negative that has happened on this, and everything is fair and clear, and the financial the balance sheet that what is being prepared by the financial managers or the accountants are trustworthy and which is useful for the benefit of the organization, which improves the profitability of the organization, right? So the next bigger thing is on the digital or mobile payments or blockchain. These are the two important things that what we keep hearing about. Now let's see what is blockchain. This is where I have taken it from ICICI Bank website. This is the best example that I could take it and help the students to understand, right? So I suggest some of the students, if anyone is interested, you can go to ICICI website and understand how the blockchain and the banking are working together, right? How is blockchain technology being used as a part of the day-to-day banking operations? Right, so there is more decentralization, there is more trust that develops as a part of the transaction between two parties, and it's more secure, right? When it comes to the supply chain management, this is where the blockchain and the supply chain management is another important area where commerce graduates have an edge, has an advantage in learning the technology better and gain the SME kind of knowledge, right? How actually the blockchain works, I think I did tell you. So how blockchain works in each and every organization is what I just thought of to put and show it to you. However, we as a customer, end customer, is benefiting across each and every area of the business or in various businesses that you are actually seeing over here, right? Now, I will leave the forum for questions now, because it's already like more than 40 minutes that we have started this session, and we only have another 15 to 20 minutes more. So let me take the questions, and let's conclude the session after my suggestions. Maybe from this slide to the next 3-4 slides, I have some suggestions to give to get you as a better person in finding a job and even after getting the job. Sir, can we take the questions, please?
Yes, sir, definitely.
Thank you, sir. Your webinar was completely interesting and informative, sir. You have covered many areas where commerce students can embark in the IT industry, and the participants felt that they received a free consultation from an expert. Thank you, sir, for sharing your knowledge and valuable time with us, sir.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
Would like to see any questions if there are there.
Now, I request Dr. D. Krupavati ma'am to start the question answer session.
Good afternoon, sir. This is Dr. D. Krupavati, Assistant Professor in the Department of Arts and Humanities, Sri Vidyaniketan Degree College, Tirupati. So here today's organizing meeting. Sorry to disturbing you, sir. I'm getting some disturbance. Who gave his little time from his busy schedule to grace this meeting. So some of the students are asking some few questions regarding of this session. Sir, is there any opportunity is there for BCom students for IT sector?
That is what I have told just now. This
Yes,
is
sir.
there are a lot of opportunities, especially in IT sector, whereas you work in the accounting process, and even in accounting process like financial planning and accounting, you have lot of opportunities, right? So that is where you need to understand the basics of the foundation of the accounting and the foundations of the financial management. And that is where some people might work in the accounts payable process, some people might work in the accounts receivable process, some people might work in the general ledger. So these three different things, right? So like how you have SAP FICO, financial FI and CO are two different modules, right? That is how even in every ERP or every organization, they have multiple areas under financial management tasks, which will be performed right from the freshers to the experience. So freshers are generally hired for the basic operational activities, either for a calling or for follow up on some things, and then do a bookkeeping as well, right? So, but majority of the IT companies will have this AP, AR, and GL activities. That is where the students will fit into.
Okay, sir. Sir, and another question is, so which type of courses is suitable for the common student to choose the IT sector career?
Yeah, specifically for IT sector to get into, sometimes the Tally ERP will definitely help them in understanding how it is actually working. And the second thing is the basics of, as I told you, right? So the basics of the financial management and accounting is more important, right? That is where I can actually help in giving some of the insights on how a job will look like, and how an activity of the finance or accounts can be made in the organization, and based on the various analytics, based on the various analytics tools which the companies will teach to the students. They train them, and then they provide the jobs as well. Okay. Any other things? Any other questions, please?
Any more questions, Krupavati madam? I think she's having some network issues. Sir, we have business statistics and business law for BCom. How
Okay.
about this statistical analysis package? Will that help the students to get into IT sector if they focus on business statistics, or maybe statistical
Yes, sir.
analysis packages, something like that?
Yes, sir. That will definitely help, right? So once if you are confident enough in Excel, so Excel is the basic minimum expectation from the industry, that any student who has some basic minimum skills, like some minimum small formulas, mathematical formulas, or conditions, or even the pivot tables or VLOOKUPs, that is more than enough for someone to get an offer letter or get an interview call letter from any of the IT companies who specifically work on the financial processes, right? So even to do that, there is this course where you can create your profile in LinkedIn, and LinkedIn also offers some of the courses. Say for example, like the basic financial management foundations, or basic Excel skills, or basic PowerPoint, or basic MS Office skills, right? So these are the small certifications that where they can do without investing much, right? So there are some free courses. Somewhere you need to pay some 500 or 1,000 or 1,500 also. But in case if anyone is very serious to do any course, so Microsoft, they themselves are offering a certification on MS Office and even including Excel, exclusively on Excel, where you can spend around 7,000 to 9,000 rupees, between 7,000 to 9,000 rupees, and can get the certification. And they'll conduct an exam, and if you pass an exam, you get a certificate. And that is where you see yourself different from compared to the other freshers, and the starting salary might be somewhere around like around 6 to 8 lakhs, between 6 to 8 lakhs, based on the skills and based on the attitude of a particular fresher, right?
Actually,
Next question, please.
Excel has its own limitations. Therefore, majority of the people from biological sciences background, they prefer SPSS, statistical package for social sciences. So I think at the initial level, Excel would be okay for BCom students. They would
Yes,
probably
sir.
know
For
a little bit of Excel, but definitely not related to statistics. And if they can,
no,
yeah, as you
it
have said,
doesn't
if
mean,
they
sir.
can,
It doesn't mean, okay. So once if you know the logic, so Excel gives you a particular logic to work on it, right? But SPSS is completely the logic based on the multiples or whatever that we study as a part of our statistics. Okay. Now, coming on to this, I taught statistics and operational research when I was working as a faculty in the past. Whatever that you teach, if you, as a part of the statistics, if you can use Excel and practice it, that is where you can correlate whatever that you read as the statistics, and you're doing a practicals through Excel, and that is where you see that as an output in SPSS. So if SPSS is giving an output, you should know how the output is coming up, right? It is like a foundation to you.
yeah.
So you might read through the statistics, but unless you implement it, so these three are interrelated. These three are correlated to each other, right?
Yeah.
So it doesn't mean that you definitely have to work only on SPSS, but as basic statistics and an Excel knowledge is more than enough for a fresher to get a job, right? To do that also, this is what I was actually suggesting, right? So you build a professional resume, create a profile in LinkedIn, go on to the LinkedIn and create your own profile, connect to the people, connect to the companies, and follow some of the companies. And that is why you have to create your own USP, that is unique selling proposition, right? So you need to prepare for your interviews. Now let me open and show you how the LinkedIn also works in terms of how you can search the jobs, how you can make sure that you are actually getting your uh, get job notifications. You can create your own job notifications and everything. Okay. Now let me do that over here as well. I don't know, somehow it's not opening. So you have something called as jobs over here. You get an option to search for the jobs, and from there you create an alert for the jobs, and that's how you see what are the jobs that you are eligible for as a fresher. You see the jobs openings over here, and you can connect with the HR. You can connect with the recruiters of some of the consultancies and talk to them and understand what are the various opportunities that they have, and then you can create by your own niche area of expertise and then work on it, right? Say for example, you have internships over here, you have free job consultation, right? So that is where you can search by the skill, by the city, or by a particular place, or even during this pandemic in the last 1 year, you can search jobs based on the work from home options also, right? So for example, I can create a job alert. These are the various remote opportunities that are available in India, right? This is an internship someone has put up over there, right? So as I told you, Ernst and Young. So these are the areas where we see the opportunities, right? If, say, for example, if I'm searching for fresher jobs, or say, for example, if I'm searching in Bangalore or Karnataka, right? You get all the jobs over there, which will give you a clear understanding of what is their expectation, what is the work that what they have to do, the job description about it, the educational qualification. Sometimes you might have the recruiter also over there, right? Say, for example, this is a fresher job, right? So, for example, for an inbound digital banking, so he's the recruiter, and this is what they have to do, right? This is the place, this is the shift, what process they need to know, right? What is the educational background that they need for this particular thing? What are the minimum skills that they require? So everything is being given based on at least like we have around 800 plus job openings. If I'm just searching for fresher, if I need to search again in detail about this, say for example, I can search for, right? So fresher and commerce. So at least you might get some opportunities over there and see how many of these are related to commerce, right? So these are the various areas that students also have to do some experiments and then understand how it is actually happening around the world and how the industry is, what the industry is expecting, and how the salaries are in the industry, how the interview patterns are there, right? So what are the different interview techniques that the people are now using, right? So to succeed in the interviews also, we still have to struggle a lot, and we still have to mold a lot. So not every interview that we attend will get a positive response, right? So we might fail sometimes. So in the interview, it doesn't mean that we are failing in that particular area, but due to many factors that influence, right? So say for example, our mind or our tension, right? So something might be happening at home or outside, so you still have that, you still carry that baggage in your mind and heart, and so you will not be able to perform in that particular interview or that particular job, but you might succeed in the next one, right? So that is why you should be well prepared enough. You should know what the company you're going for. You should read the job description thoroughly, like 2 or 3 times before going for an interview, right? So if you know any person working over there, you should know more about the company, the role about, maybe you talk to your seniors or someone that you know, and then you need to work upon it. You need to strive hard for it, right? Yes, sir, did I answer your question?
Yeah, sure. Any questions, Yogashri?
Any other questions?
Yes, sir. Sir, one question from my side, sir. Which is the best company as of now, sir, in the IT industry?
No, that depends. I cannot definitely tell you that the best in IT as such. So every company has its own way of working, their own priorities. Some companies focus more on the cloud technology. Some companies work only on the analytics. Some companies work more on the application development. Some companies work on the ERP and CRM packages. And the criteria for best is something different. Okay, the idea of the best might be from employee perspective, from the HR related policies perspective, from the work flexibility perspective. So that differs. I definitely cannot tell you that which is the best. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Now,
Thank you, sir.
coming on
Thank
to
you
the
for
other
clearing all
important
our
topic.
doubts.
Yeah.
Thank you for clearing
If
all our
I can
doubts.
ask you who is the best faculty, it's very difficult. That's fine. And coming on to the another important thing, so when the freshers as such are preparing their resumes, right? So they cannot send the same resume to every company. So they should change the writing, they should change the covering letter, they should change some of the keywords, and they should customize it. They should change for every job description that they are applying for. They should make sure that whatever the job, the keywords in the job description are reflecting in your resume, right? So it doesn't mean that we need to add it or cook up something, but the keywords may plays a major role in that. You might have done it, but we might miss adding those keywords in our resumes many times. So we should make sure that these small changes, they have to be incorporated in your profile and upload either in LinkedIn or in Naukri, and so that you can get the right opportunities, or you can get a calls from the right companies at the right time. Okay. Next, sir. Any other question?
Any more questions, Krupavati madam, from students in the YouTube chat?
No, sir.
No. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Yogashri, you can go ahead.
Yes, sir. Once again, I thank you, sir, for clearing all the doubts, sir. Actually, after the webinar, we became aware about pillars of finance, many things which we didn't know earlier, sir. So, pillars of finance, path to success, career paths after BCom, main things which we have to include in our resume, leadership and interpersonal skills, digitalization in financial services, research career, sir, and many more, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Now, I request Dr. D. Krupavati, ma'am, Assistant Professor of Commerce, to propose vote of thanks.
On behalf of the organizing committee, I take this opportunity to propose vote of thanks. So here, our chief guest, Dr. Pavan Mahesh Shatawali, is giving a valuable information to the all commerce students, so which will be useful for their career. And I would like to thank you to Dr. D. Ashalata ma'am, Principal, Sri Vidyaniketan Degree College, Tirupati. I thank to ma'am always her support and encouraging to the Commerce Department. And I thank to faculty, another faculty and students organizing committee. And I thank to media for designing brochures and e-certificates and uploading brochures in social media. Thank you one and all to success this meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. The link for the feedback is available in the chat box. I request all the participants to fill the feedback form to get the e-certificates. The e-certificate will be sent to your respective email ID within 1 week. If you do not receive the e-certificate, I request you to contact our technical team. Their email ID is in the chat box. I thank one and all for making this webinar a grand success. Thank you.
Thank you, Yogeshri. Dr. Mahesh, indeed, it was a very wonderful expertise that you have shared. So I was listening all through, so I was very happy. So what exactly the students have to learn because of a long association with the placements or with the international relations. I understand how demanding it is to be upskilled or upgraded with your skill set. So it was really nice to listen to you. Now I think I keep on telling all my friends, all my team members that whenever an expert like you comes along, we all become students. So it was one more session like that. So thank you once again for joining us and enlightening our students with all the important points that they have to note down now, and then start upgrading themselves, or this matter of unlearning and relearning, which they have to seriously do in order to become the best in the industry. That is what coming for all the important points that they have to note down, and then so much. I think there is some crosstalk with the YouTube recording. Thank you, Dr. Mahesh. It was very nice listening to you. Thank you so much. So once again, congratulations to the organizing team and all the students and the faculty who have made this webinar a kind of an session where all of us have tried to get the points into our mind very seriously, how we have to guide our students and make them the best in the industry tomorrow to come and get the best of the career for themselves. Thank you, one and all. God bless.
Thank you, ma'am. Thanks for providing an opportunity to interact with you. And thank you, Ravikant sir.
Thanks, Dr. Mahesh. You
much.
were as cool as a cucumber right from the word go, and you have described about various aspects, not just confined to career in IT. Once they get into the IT also, what is that they are supposed to do? And you have gave them a fantastic picture of how they have to build their career. Thanks a lot, Mahesh, for sparing your valuable time. And we want you to associate with ourselves for a longer period of time in the many more webinars to come. Thanks a lot, Mahesh.
Thank you, sir. Thanks for that. Thank you so much.
Yeah, yeah.